ॐ अज्ञानाञ्जस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुं श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत सप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे।
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thank you for joining the call. So, which chapter are we in now?
Fifth chapter.
Fifth chapter have we completed or still to do? We have completed fifth chapter. Okay?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay. So, in fifth chapter, we have learned about Nishkama Karma Yoga. That means how to, that means this chapter has taken us deep into Karma Yoga. From there, we can shift to Ashtanga Yoga. That means how to do work in a detached way is what we have learned in chapter 5. Okay, and in the last 2 slokas of this fifth chapter, that is in slokas 5.27 and 28, Krishna introduces Ashtanga Yoga. He talks about Ashtanga Yoga. Okay. Here, Krishna tells us about how to get liberated by Jnana Yoga or Ashtanga Yoga. A small prelude of Jnana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga is also given there, which is explained in the next chapter. See, from this we understand that one can attain liberation by Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga or Ashtanga. But we can take any routes. But which is the easiest route is what we have to decide. I suppose I want to come from here to your house. There is a short route of just walking for 2 minutes. Will I take that route? Or I can even take one more route which will just take 10-20 minutes round and then come to your house. And there can be one more route from which I can go from this my town to another town, and from that town to another town, and from that town to your place. That way also I can come. Finally, I have reached your house, but that is not what is important. What is important is which is the easiest way in which we can use our destination is what is important. So Krishna tells that Bhakti Yoga is the simple thing with the simple way in which we can reach Krishna. And Prabhupada also in the slokas very clearly explains that Ashtanga Yoga, that Bhakti Yoga is the best in Krishna consciousness. Okay, and in sloka 29, the last sloka of chapter 5, Prabhupada says that Krishna conscious person is always in the service of Krishna. That's all what is Krishna consciousness. There is nothing else other than Krishna consciousness in bhakti in Bhagavad Gita. Today morning, one guest has come to my house. He was telling, I have read Bhagavad Gita as it is. Every other sentence is Krishna consciousness. Every other sentence is Krishna consciousness. That's all is there in that Bhagavad Gita. I said, yes, what is important for us is Krishna consciousness. So that's what Prabhupada has explained in every other sentence. So in Krishna consciousness, we engage our mind and senses in Bhakti Yoga. That means not only mind, senses. Senses are the ones which take us away from our bhakti or from the goal which we are planning to reach. We have a lot of ideas to do. Like you want to study very well in this current academic year. But what is that is stopping you? Your parents are not stopping. Nothing else is stopping. What is stopping you is your mind. That is what stops us from our destiny. So our mind and senses, our senses are stopping us. Our senses are controlling our mind. And then we go away from our final goal. So here Krishna says that one will get liberated easily, but liberation is not the ultimate of devotee. But perpetual loving devotional service should be the aim of Krishna. That is Krishna consciousness. We have to always, what should be our aim? Final result, what is going to have is not our thought. Our thought should be, because we are children of Krishna. We are here because we developed ego and went against Krishna. We are here, so we should be in service of Krishna. We are das of Krishna. We should go back to Krishna. So, and also this Sloka 29 says that Krishna is the enjoyer of all the sacrifices. Whether you do patram pushpam phalam toyam or you do an yajna, anything you do, the final enjoyer is Krishna. You do a service, you do a great yajna to Shiva, in turn Shiva gives it to Krishna. You do something to any god for that matter. You do it whichever god you like. That god, if he is in the parampara of Lord Krishna, it goes to Lord Krishna. If he is not in the parampara of Krishna and if he is away from Krishna, whatever you are doing is a waste. So here Krishna tells very clearly that I am the enjoyer of all the sacrifices. I am the supreme controller of all the planetary systems and the demigods. He says not only of all what you are giving. I am the enjoyer of the total creation, the planetary systems and the demigods as he has created them. So anything ours, you are the owner of your notebook, right? Your class notebook, because you have written everything on. Suppose there are 2 blank notebooks. Anybody can claim ownership on it. Or your mother can say, let that poor boy have it and take it off and give it to him. But suppose you have written a notes, nobody can take it from you. It is yours, your hard work. So that way, because you have created the matter in that textbook, that notebook. So I should not use the word created. You have recreated it. So you own it. That way Krishna has created everything. So he owns everything. And in the third line of that sloka, it says, the third line, the supreme well-wisher is also Krishna only. That is the goodness in Krishna. That is the kind heart of Krishna. Somebody enjoy means we call them as owners. All the owners are not kind-hearted. Some owners are very harsh. But Krishna is a very kind-hearted person. His heart is described in the third sloka. And understanding Krishna like this, just understand Krishna like this, that he is the creator, he is the enjoyer, and he is a very kind-hearted father. And this is all the peace formula. This very clearly tells us about the Supreme Personality of Krishna. So from now we start chapter 6. So, 6th chapter. Today, Jitesh has joined first. So, Jitesh will read the first sloka. Okay, Jitesh? He joined 10 minutes before the class. So, whoever joins first can either read the prayer or the sloka. Yeah. Jitesh.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Anashrita karma palam karyam karma karoti ya sasanyasi cha yogi cha nani gnirna charyaha.
Chakriyaha.
Translation: The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, one who is attached to the fruits, unattached to the fruits of his work, who works as he is
Obligated.
Is in the renounced order of life, and he is the true mystic, not who lights on fire and performs a duty.
Performs no duty. Hare Krishna. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, whenever you are reading the sloka also, if it is said Krishna, Supreme Personality of God, Krishna Uvacha, say that. Similarly, Arjuna Uvacha, say that also. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, one who is unattached to the fruits of his work, that means a Nishkama Karma Yogi, and who works as he is in the, he is obligated, is in the renounced order of life, and he is the true mystic, not he who lights no fire nor performs no duty. Here in this chapter, in this 6th chapter, Krishna describes very elaborately about Ashtanga Yoga and Dhyana Yoga process. Okay, Ashtanga Yoga is very difficult and impractical to do also. So we will understand what it is. One has to, in this Ashtanga Yoga, one has to control his mind and senses. Unless one's mind is pure, you cannot control your mind. That means you have lot of desires, you have lot of ambitions, you have lot of anger, you have lot of emotions. All those things will be dominating your mind, and you can never control your mind. So first thing is we should make our mind pure to do Ashtanga Yoga. So to make it pure, we have to practice Nishkama Karma Yoga. This will be acquired only by doing the prescribed duties in detachment. So Krishna, so that is the reason why Krishna talks very good about Nishkama Karma Yoga in slokas 1 and 2. So here Krishna says, one who is unattached to the fruits of his work, that means doesn't look at the results, and one who works as he is obligated, is in the renounced order of life. That means he has to do some duties because he is born on this earth, and because of his that time, that age, ashrama dharma, whatever he is supposed to do, he is obligated to do that. So he does it. And he is the true mystic, not he who, and the true mystic is not who lights no fire, performs no duty. Lighting fire means, why do we light fire? We light fire in the olden days, fire was lit for cooking. So that means somebody is saying that I am not lighting any fire. That means normally who doesn't light fire? We are all grihasthas, we light fire. But a brahmachari doesn't cook. He's not supposed to cook. He has to daily do his prayers and then go into the town, beg and get some food and eat. That means he doesn't light any fire and performs no duty. That means he has no material duties. No duty means not that he has no work. He doesn't have any material duty. So here in next also Krishna talks about how to do through detached work. Okay, next. Yeah, Rohan. You can unmute, Rohan.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavad Pranam.
Only one of you. One of you. Whoever. Switch on the video.
Sanyasam ita parahur iti prahur yogam tam vidhi pandava nahya asanyasta sankalpo yogi bhavati
Kaschana.
Kashchana. What is called renunciation, you should know to be the same as yoga or linking oneself with the Supreme. O son of Pandu, one can never become a yogi unless he renounces the desire of sense gratification. Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavad Pranam Mataji. Thank you, Mataji.
Yeah, sense gratification. What is called renunciation? You should know to be the same as a yoga. We are saying sense gratification, sense gratification. What is it? You should know. Or linking oneself, sense gratification is linking oneself with the Supreme. O son of Pandu, for one can never become a yogi unless he renounces the desire of sense gratification. That means becoming happy for whatever our senses are feeling. Our eyes, our nose, our tongue, our hands, whatever pleasure we get from this, that should be left. That is when we can, that is what is called renunciation. That is when we can become more attached to Krishna. So now here sense gratification is also nothing but a type of yoga. Desire for sense gratification only when it is given up only you become a yogi. More about the this is actually more about the consciousness and attitude. That means you should be very conscious of what we are doing. Our attitude is our attitude towards enjoyment or towards Krishna. Not external, like not our external appearance. That means we can always decorate ourselves. Like suppose I am putting a sindu, somebody looks at me, immediately they say, oh, she's a Krishna conscious person, she is a follower of ISKCON. These things they'll say, but that's what they get the first impression on me. But I just go to their house with this and then they offer me coffee, tea. If I take, they'll think, what is this? This lady is putting sindoor and coming to our house and drinking coffee and tea. They say, okay, maybe she's doing. And then they serve me non-vegetarian food. Suppose I happily eat it. They say, she is only externally pretending. She is not a Krishna conscious person. She has no belief in what she is doing. That kind of external attitude. So initially I might misguide them saying that I believe in Krishna. But my actions, my attitude, my consciousness will tell them whether one is a Krishna conscious person or not. A Krishna conscious thinks only about enjoyment for Krishna, not from Krishna. We all look for our enjoyment, which we get from Krishna. That means whatever Krishna gives us keeps making us very happy. That is what we are doing. But that is not what we should do. We should see for the enjoyment what we can give Krishna. What is that enjoyment we can give to Krishna? Is there anything we can give to Krishna? See, Jitesh Nandan is doing asanas. Wait, let me complete. Then you can do asanas. Sitting, hear the class, not do asanas. What is that is giving us happiness? Tell me. Krishna, what is that will give Krishna happiness? Who is telling me? What is that will give us happiness?
Mataji, to chant Krishna.
Excellent. Hari Bol. I was really shocked and disappointed when I did not get this answer. Fatafat from everybody. I thought everybody will simply put it in messages. So I opened my chat box and I'm just waiting. Why nobody is putting? So what is that will make Krishna is just remembering him. How does he know we are remembering him? By chanting his name. So we should always look for the happiness of Krishna, not for the happiness what we receive from Krishna. Here, whether we are working or not working is not important, but our attitude is what is very important. If the mind is not attached to the devotional services, whatever we are doing, that will not, then that is not a person of a yogi. Our mind should first be attached to it. So, without purifying ourselves, we can never do our prescribed duties in unattached way. So, to become a Nishkama Karma Yogi, first thing is we have to detach ourselves from sense gratification, as it requires lot of mind control. That means to do something in a detached way. What is important is control of mind. Why do we get angry? Why do we feel all this? Just because we are still attached to the material things. All this is happening. The moment we get detached to all this, nothing will make anybody happy. Sorrow. Okay. Third. Who will read third one? Harshit?
Hare Krishna Mataji. Arurukar Sor Mune
Arurukshor Murune Yogam.
Arunashor Munur Yogam Karma Karmanam
Karma Karana Muchate.
Karma Karanam Uchate Yoga Ruddhasya
Yoga
Rudasya Tasyaiva Samaha Karanam Uchate.
Very good.
Translation. For one who is an neophyte in the eightfold yoga system, who is said to be the means, and for one who is already elevated in yoga, cessation of all material activities is said to be the means.
Yeah, good. Yeah. For one who is a neophyte means a learner, a newcomer in the eightfold yoga system. We know that yoga is eightfold. I think all of you have learned this in the yoga system. That is, can somebody tell me what they are? Eightfold yoga system. Yama, Niyama, Asana. Are all of you learned slokas? Pranayama, Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi. Did you all of you not learn all this? All of you learned all this. See, in ISKCON there is a joke. ISKCON say USKCON. That means in English, if it put ISKCON, it is ISKCON. This year. USKCON means this year. It is coming in from this year and going out from that year. There is something called brain in between. So that brain should catch whatever is coming from ISKCON and not let it out from USKCON. Okay? Okay. For one who is a neophyte in the eightfold yoga system, what is said to be the means? And for one who is already elevated in yoga, cessation of all cessation means retirement, something like retirement. Cessation of all material activities is said to be the means. That means a person who has just started this eightfold yoga system, he should attain this with yoga. That means we have already learned this karma yoga, how Krishna has to slowly brought us. First he said we have to do karma because that is a prescribed duty. Then he said you have to do it for the happiness of people around. Then he said we have to do it as a karma yoga. That way he has gradually brought us here. So in the eightfold system, a newcomer has to do work. And for one who is already in yoga, elevated yoga system.
Mataji, can I go to washroom?
Yeah, please. Cessation of all material activities is said to be said to be the means. So in the beginning of Ashtanga Yoga system, one cannot give up Nishkama Karma Yoga the way just now I have told and the way we are progressing here. And or prescribed duties. That means a person who has newly come up to this consciousness have to do prescribed duties first. And in the advanced stage, one should give up the prescribed, can give up the prescribed duties, need not give up, but he can give up the prescribed duties. And the beginning stage is called Yoga. The ending stage is called Yoga Ruda. The beginning stage is called Yoga Ruksha. Yoga Ruksha. That means that is the beginning stage, and the ending stage is called the Yoga Ruda. So if you take Yama, Yama means the 8 stages. Yama is nothing but don't. What is that you should not do is told in Yama. And the second stage is called Niyama. Niyama means what is that you have to do. If you just look at it, it can be, sometimes both can be the same, sometimes they are different. Suppose I say you should not get up late in the morning. That means that is a don't. You should get up early in the morning. That is a do. In this case, both are same. But a bad thing, you should not do it, is one thing. So you should not smoke cigarettes. And the positive way of sitting is smoking cigarettes is bad. That way you can always put it, asana. So do's and don'ts is yama and niyama. And asana. Asana is nothing but bodily exercises. Or the so-called yoga, whatever we are calling now, that yoga asana day and all that, is not actually yoga. Yoga means this total Ashtanga yoga is called yoga. So whatever the yogas we are doing outside, the yoga, whatever we are learning outside is nothing but is asanas. That is for the physical gain of the body. Even that, is it important? Yes, to some extent it is important. To maintain good health, it is important. Only when we have good health, we'll have concentration of mind. If we have bad health, you can never have concentration of mind. Suppose you have severe stomach pain or acidity problem. The acidity keeps pushing us. Can we concentrate on the mind on the study, or can we do chanting? You cannot do. So the asanas are also important. Pranayama. The highest stage of asana is pranayama. That means the reason for our life, why how we are doing is, if we just close our nose and then stay for some time, we die. That means breathing is very essential. Anything that is essential, there is a good and there is a bad in it. So how to do a proper is tells pranayama. That means there are varieties in this. There are 3 stages in pranayama also. That is how to take breath inside, how to leave breath outside, and how to hold breath. So this is pranayama stage. So this is there. And the next one is pratyahara. Pratyahara means prati ahara. That means it is eating food is very important, but eating all the food is not important. Pratyahara means eating the right food is what is important. Withdrawing our senses from the temptations and developing is one thing. And actually the meaning of Pratyahara is withdrawing our senses from the sense gratification, from the temptations, and developing interest. Many times I have told this, if you want to control your senses, never think that I want to stop this. Never say I want to stop this. You will always say, this year I am going to study very well, but every year we don't do. Why are we not doing it? It is because we have not tasted the result of the education. The day we taste it, the result of education, that means the day you get first rank in the class by fluke. Suppose the teacher has given you first rank. Then what happens is immediately you develop interest. Hey, this time I have got 1 minute. This time I've got first, so next time also I must develop this. So let me do it. That is how the interest will develop. So that we have to develop taste. Similarly, when you want to stop a bad thing, you never think of stopping it. You start thinking of doing something better. Then you will automatically get, you will lose your interest on the bad things. So by doing these 5, yama, niyama, asana, pratyahar, yaman, all these 5, you will develop, you will become more purified. 6.4. Who will read? Not Rohan. Where is this girl? Yeah, Vishnupriya or Sri Sagana? Anyone, one of you switch on, and then any one of you can.
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah, switch on your video.
Yada hinendriyartesu na karmasya anusajite sarva sankalpa sanyasi yoga rutastadoshyate. Translation: a person is said to be elevated in yoga when, having renounced all material desires, he neither acts with sense gratification nor engages in fruitive activities.
Fruitive
Hare
activities. Hare Krishna. Excellent, Sagana. You read the sloka beautifully.
Thank you, Mataji.
Yeah. A person is said to be elevated in yoga when having renounced all material desires. That means our material desires should not. Suppose we are there living in this material world also. If we don't get attached to the material senses, that means we are a yogi. We are in yoga stage. He neither acts for sense gratification nor engage for fruitive activities. So when we are not getting attached to the sense gratification, getting tempted for senses, we don't do no sense gratification nor engage in fruitive activities. The activities, the benefits, whatever we are getting, the enjoyment we are getting from fruitive activity does not attract us. Yeah. 6.5. Where are these girls? Where are these girls? Vishnupriya and Krishnapriya, they were here. Hare Krishna, Roshan. Okay. Dikshit, you would like to read?
Yes, Mataji, my brother. I will read, Mataji.
Yeah, what happened to your brother?
I am reading, Mataji.
Okay, one of you read.
Udhare Atmanatmanam one Atmanam Natmanam Avasadit Atmaiva Hai Atmano
Hyatmano.
Bandhur Atmaivari Pur Atman must deliver himself with the help of his mind and do not degrade himself. The mind is the friend of the contaminated soul and its enemy as well. Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavad Pranam.
Hare Krishna. One must deliver himself with the help of mind. See, attaching is because of mind, so delivering also should be with the mind and not degrade himself. Why do we degrade himself? The moment we start getting tempted for everything and anything around us, we get degraded. That means when I want something from you, suppose I want something from you, I must come and bend my head before you, right? If I don't want anything from you, I can stand straight. Stand straight means I can be what I am. I know what is good, what is bad. But suppose a person from whom I am expecting some results, he will say, you do this bad thing. And suppose I am desperate for whatever he is giving, what will I do? I will oblige him and then do that bad thing. That means if you deliver himself with the help of mind, that means we are degrading ourselves, which we should not do. The mind is the friend of the conditioned soul and his mind. And can somebody tell me, is your mind your enemy or a friend? Is mind your enemy or a friend? Who will answer? Is your mind your friend or an enemy? Nobody is answering.
Enemy.
Enemy. Who is that, Harshit?
Yes, Mataji. Yes,
Your
ma'am.
mind is, why your mind is your enemy?
Friend, Mataji? Is it friend?
Who is that saying friend? You have to tell me why it is a friend, why it is enemy.
Because it helps you. I mean, like, whenever you take a decision or something, it helps you.
Yeah. So that's a friend. So if the decision is good, then your mind is a,
Friend, and
if the decision is wrong,
it's an enemy.
that means the mind decides. So if you can control your mind and put it in the right way, then the mind, the mind, I mean, like this, the mind is a friend of the conditioned soul. That means if you can control your mind, control your sense organs, that means who will control? The mind has to control. That means if it is controlling, it is your friend. And if you cannot, your mind is not able to control your sense organs, it's your enemy. Okay. 6.5. So everything, whatever we are doing in this world, if you observe, anything and everything is for our sense gratification only. Such a state, that means, so we should be, so here he talks about the second stage, that is the yoga rudha stage. That means the higher stages of the asanas. That is the dharana, dhyana, and samadhi. Where if you reach that stage, your mind will become your friend. 6.6. Who will read? Harshit? Harshit? Are you there?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Bandhur atmanastasya ena
Enatmai vatmana
enat vatmana jitah atmanastu satrutve vartate tat maiva satruvat.
Okay.
Translation: For him who has conquered the mind is the best of the friends. But one who has failed to do so, his mind will remain the greatest enemy.
This is what we have talked just now. For whom we have conquered the mind. That means, conquered means, suppose I conquer, a king goes and conquers the next kingdom. What will happen? The next kingdom, everybody has to listen to him. That is conquering. His mind is the best of all his friends. But for one who has failed to do so, his mind is the his greatest enemy. Okay. So if you make friendship with the material objects, our mind will become our enemy. And develop interest in Krishna consciousness, it will become our friend. 6.7. Yeah. Sagana, you can read.
Yes, Mataji. Chitatmana prasantasya brahma paramatma samhitaha sitosna sukha dukkadesu tatamana pamannayaha. Translation: For one who has conquered the mind, the super soul is already reached, for he has attained tranquility. To such a man, happiness and distress, heat and cold, honor and dishonor are all the same. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So in Sloka 7, till now Krishna has told about the various stages of Ashtanga Yoga and how our mind will be in each stage, how we have to reach each stage. So in 7, 8, and 9, he describes the mind of a person in Yoga Rudha stage. That means in the elevated stage, in the highest stage of the Ashtanga Yoga. So here, for one who has conquered the mind, when we go to the higher stage of Ashtanga Yoga, the Supreme is already, the super soul has already reached. For he has attained tranquility. Tranquility means equality. To such a man, happiness or distress, heat or cold, honor or dishonor are all the same. So here Krishna is telling anything is same for him. Even though Krishna is telling heat or cold, that means that is a physical stage. That means the physically whatever happens to this material body is same for him. And when he says happiness and distress, that is the mental stage. The mental plane is also very stable. That means something very bad happens to me. Okay, it has happened. It's a blessing for Krishna. My karma is getting washed. Something very good has happened. Okay, Krishna has blessed this. Let me see how many days this happiness is going to be. That kind of a mental equality that man will have. And honor or dishonor, this is where it is very difficult to control our mind. We can somehow control heat, cold, somehow control happiness and distress, but taking equally honor and dishonor, that means suppose you say, Madam Mataji, your class is excellent. Even though my class is not excellent, I will just go on to the cloud 7 thinking my class is excellent. Why? Because the honor what we get, that is what spoils any person. The root cause of anybody's fall down starts at the praises and dishonor. Somebody says, oh, horrible, your class is so bad. I should accept, I should understand why did they say my class is bad? Where am I going wrong? That kind of attitude I should develop. I should immediately not say, this person is useless. He doesn't attend the class later. And how can he say my class is bad? No, my class is good. Only thing is he has no brain. He is not understanding whatever I say. That kind of imbalance should not be there. When somebody says good or somebody says bad, then also we should be same. When we are saying, that means that is the egoistic plane. When we have that, we'll have balance of thought. That means in any situation, we will think balancedly, because the emotional state is the state which will, the emotional state that will spoil our thinking process. Even though we know what is good, what is bad, what we should do, what we should not do, where is that we are failing? We are only failing at the emotional state. Emotional means this heat and cold means the physical stage, temptation. Happiness and distress, that is what we lose balance. Honor and dishonor, ego will get hurt. The ego getting hurt is the worst thing what can happen to anybody. So here we should never bother for the happiness or sorrowfulness, whatever is happening to us. Okay, 6.8. Yeah. Who will read? Rohan? Rohan. Dikshit, are you there?
Mataji, I will read Mataji.
Read.
Janana Jnana Vijnana Trutama Kutosto Vijatendriyaha Yukta Ite Yuchyate Yogi Samalokatra Samakara Chaha. A person is established in self-realization and is called a yogi or mystic when he is fully satisfied by virtue of active knowledge and realization. Such a person is situated in transcendence and is self-controlled. He sees everything, whether it be pebbles, stones, or gold, as the same. Hare Krishna Mataji, Dhanavad Pranam Mataji. Thank you, Mataji.
A person is said to be established in self-realization and is called a yogi, a mystic, when he is fully satisfied with the virtue of acquired knowledge and realization. Here in the sloka, Krishna is using the word jnana. Jnana means knowledge. And vijnana. Vijnana means the realizations what we get from the knowledge. So when we reach the jnana and vijnana stage, such a person is situated in the transcendental. That means he is in the transcendental stage and self-control. So we get control on the self. He sees everything, whether it is pebbles, stones, or gold, as the same. So we know pebbles are easily available, stones are still easily available, whereas gold is very costly. We try to preserve gold and then throw off the stones. So that way, but for him, it just doesn't make any difference. I think I have told the story to you. Once one great, one sage comes to one village, he will be just holding a bag like this. Then one poor man comes and says, like I think he gets a dream saying that yogi, whoever is coming, he has something very valuable with him. So you go and ask him, he will give you. So he goes and says, yesterday night I got a dream, Prabhu, whatever the value, please give me whatever you have. So the yogi just puts his hand in his bag and one big diamond comes. So he just gives the poor man the diamond. So the poor man becomes very happy and then goes home. And then at night he sleeps very happily. In the midnight he gets the idea. What is this? This diamond is so valuable. The yogi has just given it off like that. When do we give? When I have 100 rupees, giving some 50 rupees or 1 rupee to somebody, it won't bother me. When I have 1 lakh rupees, I can easily give 100 rupees. So that way, compared to what I have, I can give others. That means if this yogi has given me this diamond, that means he has something more valuable with him. So I must ask for that. So this man goes and asks, no, yogi, not this. I wanted to have the most valuable thing, whatever you have. Please give me, I don't want this diamond. Then the yogi says, yes, I have something more valuable than this. That is, what is that? What is that? More valuable than a diamond?
Hare Krishna Mahamantra.
Yes, Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Then he says, you learn the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. He teaches him the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So that way, so here for the yogi, the stone is just have no value. Similarly, so all the knowledge what we get, here he's talking about the knowledge and the realization. The knowledge is that materially a stone has no physical value, whereas gold has lot of physical material value. The realization is they have different material values, but when it comes to Krishna, all are same. To reach Krishna, either I possess a stone or I possess a diamond, it just doesn't make any difference. That is the realization. When that comes, for us, everything is the same, whether it is a stone or a diamond, it is the same. So that realization we should get. Okay, 6.9. Who will read? Who will read?
Read, Mataji.
Yeah, read.
Suhirmitrari uttasina madhyastha devasya bandhusuhu sadusu apisat papeshu samabuddhir visisyate. Translation: a person is considered still farther advanced when he regards honest well-wishers, affectionate benefactors, the neutral mediators, the envious friends and enemies, the pious and the sinners, all with an equal mind. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. The person is considered still further advanced. Now we talk about a person who is valuing stone and gold. A still person advanced when he regards honest well-wishers, affectionate benefactors, the neutrals, mediators, the envious, friends and enemies, the pious and the sinners of all equally. That means looking at material benefits is one extent, material values. But normally, what is that is bonding us in this world is more than material benefit. We can always, suppose we have a house. For some reason, we lost the house. We can detach. But if you lose a person whom we love very much, it is very difficult to hold that grief. So that way, the attachments also, if we can take it in the same spirit, then that is the real equality in mind. That means whether he's a well-wisher, an affectionate benefactors, the neutrals, that means who is neutral to us, a mediators, the envious, that means who envies us, friends, enemies, all those things, if who does good to us, who does bad to us, all those things, if you can take equally. If something, normally our mentality will be like this, something very bad happens to a person who has done something wrong to us, very good, very nice happened, he deserves it. That's how we think. Whereas the same bad happens to a person, a friend or a person who has done good to us, think, "Arey, why is such a thing to him?" That way we think. But we should always think, oh, whether he is bad, good friend or enemy, we should think, oh, it's a bad thing. It should not have happened to him. That kind of, not by tongue, it should come from brain. That kind of thought, if we can always gain, that means you children, when you are playing games, whether you are opposite, when you are playing the game, you should play it with your full mind and energy and with the correct play. But if you lose the game, you should be as equally as happy that others have won. If you win anyway, you are happy. That means even in education, everywhere, this is the root cause of problems. Yeah. 10. Who will read 10? Harshit? Dikshit? Dikshit? Not there. Harshit, read it.
My brother will read.
Read.
Okay, Mataji, I will read.
Read.
Yogi, Yunjita, Satatam Atmanam Rahasi, Stitah Eki Yata Chittamani Nirasir.
Nirasira Parigraha.
Translation. A transcendentalist should always engage his body, mind, and self in relationship with Supreme. He should live alone in a secluded place and should always carefully control his mind. He should be free from desires and feelings of possessiveness. Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavatam. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. So from chapter 10 to 32, Krishna explains various stages of Ashtanga Yoga. From 10th to, and in that, from 10th to 17th, he tells practicing stages of Ashtanga Yoga. How do we practice various stages of Ashtanga Yoga? Okay, from 18th to 32, perfection. That means 10th to 17th are the practicing stages, and 18th to 30th are perfection of yoga, perfection of Ashtanga Yoga. That is what he explains. So 10th, a transcendentalist should always engage his body, mind, and self in relationship with the Supreme. So here, as discussed in the previous sloka, we said we should not get emotional with bad people, good people, friends, relatives, and all that. So if we does not have to happen, how it will happen? This being a soul, our soul's quality is to enjoy, is to love. So that enjoy and that happiness quality cannot be changed. It will be there. So what is that? How are we developing all this love and hatred on all the people around us? It is what we are developing. The moment we think he's a part of our family, suppose suddenly your parents bring one child and say, see, he's also your brother only, because that time when he was born, one friend wanted, they did not have children, so they wanted to adopt a son, so we gave them, and now that for some reasons we brought him back. The moment you know that he is your sibling, your blood, you just go and hug him and say, oh, you are my brother. So that way we are developing the love. The moment we know that some benefit is there, or some relationship is there, or something like that, we develop relation. But when we realize that we are all here only to serve Krishna, a good person and bad person, we are all siblings only, we are all in the service of Krishna only, that love won't be there. Then whom should the soul love? It should love the Supreme Lord, and then develop the relationship with the Supreme Lord. He should live alone in a secluded place. Why? Because there will be a lot of disturbances, and should always be careful in controlling his mind. He should be free from desires and feelings of possessiveness. That means he should never have a feeling that this is mine. He should understand that everything here is only Krishna's. It is like a rented house. I am here. I am fortunate. I am able to use it now. That's all the feeling he should have. You should never think that this is mine. That kind of a thing he should not have. So describing, so here Krishna describes Ashtanga Yogi in an advanced stage. What is his practices when he reaches by meditating? If he is able to feel the super soul, how he will be? He is always in Samadhi stage. That means the 8th stage of the Ashtanga Yoga. He stays. That means why he stays in a secluded place is all these people. Why we want all these people around? Because we are all Sangajivis and we want association. But there he is having the association of Lord Krishna. The endeavor, so he has got lot of mind control, no proprietorship. Krishna, that means he knows that his only work is to serve Lord. Like in various stages of Ashtanga Yoga, it is like this. Suppose I give you a cup of milk. So by seeing the milk, first you look at it and say, oh, it looks like milk. And the next stage, you touch it. You say, oh, it's a cold milk. It's one more development, one more adjective to the milk. And then you go and smell it. Oh, yeah, the milk smells good. Then somebody comes and tells about the quality of the milk. That means here, one after the other, we are knowing the more and more about the milk. Somebody tells it's the milk of a cow. It is the milk of not a hybrid cow. It is the milk of he tells some quality name of some very good quality of a cow and says it's the milk of that cow. It is the milk of the cow. So the cow is feeded very properly. So it's a very good milk. That way somebody explains the quality of the milk, we will know about the quality. Still now what happened? We know it's a milk. We know it smells good. We know it's cold. We know it's a very good quality of the milk. But did we get any benefit out of knowing the quality of milk? Nothing. Because we are only standing apart and looking. When will the benefit come? When we take the milk and drink. That is when we get the benefit. See, now what we are doing sitting in the class or myself talking about it, we are only knowing, understanding the benefit of various things. That means only when we practice all of them, we will get the benefit of it. I think you understood this point. So we should practice only with that means only when we drink the milk, we get the benefit of milk. So when we practice, we get the benefit of it totally. So, so what we do is impersonalist and who pray demigods, they all do indirectly. They don't serve him directly. But there is a benefit. See, knowing about milk, what happens is, if not today, some other day, what we do is we try to attach. We try to drink the milk. That way, knowing about Krishna continuously, we should always not forget one thing. Out of sight is out of mind. The moment you stop chanting or stop hearing Krishna Kathas, stop attending classes, you are out from Krishna. It is like, I don't know what you call in English. Telugu, we call Jarudu Banda. We just in the playground, we have sit on the top. We sit on the top. We have to, until you are holding it only, you are there. The moment you have no hold, zoom, you come and fall down. Like, now, so that way you have always, you should be holding Krishna. Only then you are there. Yeah, Sagana, can you read this? Sri Sagana.
Sucha dese pratishthapya sthitiram asanam atmanah nati uchitram nati nicham sailajinna kusotaram strata yukagaram manah yata chittandriya kriyah upavishya sanay unyajat yogam atma visusdayahe. Translation: to practice yoga, one should go to a secluded place and should lay kusa grass on the ground and then cover it with a deer skin and a soft cloth. His seat should be neither too high nor too low and should be situated in a sacred place. The yogi should then sit on it very firmly and practice yoga to purify the heart by controlling his mind, senses, and activities and fixing the mind on one point. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. To practice yoga. So now, the previous Sloka Krishna said you have to practice about the perfection of a yogi. So where does he practice? One should go to a secluded place. He should go to a secluded place. That means if there are 100 people around and in between I go and start doing so Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, this is how I get tempted. But if I'm sitting alone in a room, nobody will disturb me. I can very peacefully chant, or one more thing also I can do. I can very peacefully sleep. So you should sit in a secluded place. And here what Krishna means is secluded place means not in between in the living in the villages or towns. He means going into the forest and lay kusa grass on the ground. Why lay kusa grass? Because this kusa grass is a grass which is available in the forest. If you put kusa grass, what will happen is the insects won't come onto the grass. Why insects should not come with the insects? When he's sitting on the grass and when the insects come onto the grass, what will happen next? The insects will climb on him. That means he might get hurt or he will get disturbed. So suppose an ant comes, it keeps coming on to us, it keeps moving like this. What happens? It disturbs us. So kusa grass on the ground and then cover it with a deer skin. Deer skin also has the same quality. Deer skin also, it doesn't mean that you have to go kill a deer and then take it. There will be deer which are dead. That skin you should take and then put it on the grass. Why? Deer skin also, the snakes kind of things don't come onto the deer skin. There is a reason why you should put a deer skin and a soft cloth on it. That's how we should put and sit. The seat should neither be too high nor should low. If you sit that high, you are very uncomfortable. If you sit underground also, you are uncomfortable. Sit at a normal place. The yogi should then sit on it firmly and practice yoga to purify the heart by controlling his mind, senses, and activities and fixing the mind on one other point. So this is how we should sit. But here the advantage, this is something what Krishna has told for the people of those days, but not for us. For us, it's very simple. We don't want kusa grass, we don't want deer skin, we don't want soft cloth. We might require a soft cloth. Just sit, because we have already now, we know what is asana. Once we improve our health and then do asana, you can always sit straight like that and then do Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Just sit and start doing it. So this actually only we should take the point in it that this is not relevant for us. Yeah, 13 and 14. Who will read? Rohan? Hare Krishna. Rohan, are you there?
Mataji, can you listen my voice, Mataji?
Yeah, I can. Both of one after other read this.
Okay, Mataji. Samam kaya siro grivam dharayan akalam Mataji?
Chalam. Dharayanda chalam. Chalam.
Dharayanya chalam. Sampreksha Nasikagram swam Disa Sanavalokam Prasantadma Vigathabhir Brahmachari Pratestitaha Manah Samyamya Machito Yukto Asita Hare Krishna Mataji, my brother will read translation. Mataji, read translation, Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
One should hold one's body, neck and head erect in a straight line and stay steady at the tip of the nose. Thus, with an unagitated, subdued mind devoid of fear, completely free from sick life, one should meditate upon me within the heart and make me the ultimate goal of life. Hare Krishna Mataji. Dhanyavad Pranam Mataji. Thank you Mataji.
One should hold one's body, neck and head erect in a straight line and stare steadily at the tip of the nose. Thus, with the unagitated, subdued minds, our agitation should not be aggressive or very mild. Devoid of fear. If I sit here, when will I study my books? When will I go and play? That kind of thought should not be there. Completely free from sex life, one should meditate upon me within the heart and make me the ultimate goal of life. That means when will we be able to sit straight? When we have good health only. We should concentrate on the tip of the nose. That means it's not that when you are asked to put on the tip of the nose, not that our mind should be on the tip of nose. Only our eyes should be there. Why? That means if you put it like this, our eyes are half closed. If you open our eyes fully, it keeps on attracting our attention like this. If you completely close our eyes, what happens is we happily sleep. Our mind. So our mind should be on what we are talking, but our eyes, it should be half closed like this. That way you should go. Okay. Yeah. So here he says one should be a brahmachari. A brahmachari means it does not mean one should not marry. Here what he means, during education time, you should be a brahmachari. That means once you reach the age of 15 or 16, you should not start making girlfriends and boyfriends. That you should not do. You should, when you are a brahmachari, when you are in education, you should always be concentrating on your education. That way, the kind of life, whatever you are leading, you should continue that. Also here Krishna uses the word ashrama many times. Ashram means it is not a spiritual place, something else where it is, not in the forest. Ashram means it is a spiritual place, the place where you are doing your prescribed duty in Krishna consciousness in a transcendental way. That means if a gruhastu is leading a 100% Krishna conscious life, just leading the prescribed duties, not anything extra, and then doing all the family is doing a transcendental life, then your house itself is an ashram. So it need not be something aloof from the town. It can be anywhere. Any place will become an ashram. That means we call some schools as Gurukul. Why? In that school, they teach what is required for the life. That means for your survival they teach, and also the transcendental knowledge they teach. That is how they become Gurukul. So here, by doing all this, we develop higher practices. We ignore the material practices. So here, when we are supposed to do, many times I have told, when you are asked not to do something, never say, I don't want to do this. Always try to do something better than that. Then suppose you are a non-vegetarian. You want to give up non-vegetarian. Then there is a non-vegetarian meal there. You want to control. So what is that? If you say no, I'll not eat, you will have to. So eat something good, full stomach full. Then what will happen? Your taste for food is gone. Then you will not look at that food. So that way you can slowly go away. And you should understand the negative effect of doing bad things. That knowledge, as we just now discussed, jnana and vijnana, that vijnana is what keeps us away from bad things. So developing that vijnana is very important. Like if you take the example of, in Mahabharata, Vidura is the uncle of Pandavas. That means they are Dhritarashtra, and next brother is Panduraju, and next brother is Vidura. So all three are born to the Kshatriya family. But Vidura is a detached man. But before Kurukshetra itself, Vidura has left the kingdom and went off as a Vanaprastha. So after Pandavas take over the kingdom, he comes. Here, both of them are there. Here, Vidura has left the royal life and leading a sannyasi kind of life. ashram kind of life. But Pandavas also, being the kings of the greatest empire, mentally they are renounced. That means both this, being the king and being a sannyasi, both of them are devotees of Krishna, and they are attached only to Krishna, and both their lives are ashrama lives only. So where we live is not important. What we do is what is important. Harshit?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Yungan
Yunjanyevam
Yunjanyevam Sadatmanam Yogini Niyata Manasaha Shantim Nirvana Paramam Mat Samastham Adigachati. Translation. Thus, practicing constant control of the body, mind, and activities, the mystic transcendentalist, his mind regulated, attains to the kingdom of God or abode of Krishna by cessation of material existence.
Thus, practicing constant control of the body, the mind, and activities. Our mind is controlled, the body and activities are already controlled. The mystic transcendentalist, that means a person who is attached to Krishna, his mind regulated, automatically his mind will be regulated. His mind regulated, attains the kingdom of God. That means he reaches God. By cessation of material retirement. That means cessation means leaving away. When he leaves the material world, he reaches Krishna. This is the ultimate goal of Ashtanga Yoga. Yoga practice is not for material benefit. The yoga whichever is being talked about now around is for material benefit. That means to keep us healthy and to keep us fit, to make us look beautiful. But the actual, that is only asana. Here what they are talking here is for reaching Krishna. 16. Who will lead? Yeah. Where are these two kids? Left, huh? Yeah. Sagana, will you read this?
नात्यस्नातास्ति योगोऽस्ति न चैकन्दमनस्ततः न चाति स्वप्नशीलस्य जागृतो नैव चार्जुन. Translation. There's no possibility of one becoming a yogi. O Arjuna, if one eats too much or eats too little, sleeps too much or does not sleep at all.
Good. This is one of the SSP sloka, no?
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah, there is no possibility of one becoming a yogi, O Arjuna, if one eats too much or eats too little, sleeps too much or does not sleep enough. You cannot say. That means here you are saying yogi is somebody doing prescribed duties in a proper way. That means you want to chant 100, say I want to chant 200 malas today, and then stop eating, stop sleeping, and stop your studies and then do. That is not the correct way. You should eat what you should eat. You should not eat more. If you eat more, you cannot do your work. It means that you cannot do your works. You will automatically fall asleep. Then you will sleep more, and then you cannot do anything. So you should have a very balanced life. So this is very important. Yeah. Jitesh, can you read this? It is this.
Yes, Mataji. Yuktahara viharasya yuktachetasya karmasu yuktaswapna davogasya
Bodhasya.
yogo bhavati dukkha. Translation. He who is regulated in his habits of eating, sleeping, reacting, and working can mitigate all material pains by practicing the yoga system. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. He who regulates his habits of eating, sleeping, recitation, recreation, and work can and work can mitigate all material pains by practicing the yoga system. If you want to practice yoga system, not only practice yoga system, for any regulated diet, even for a Nishkama Karma Yoga who is not practicing yoga system also, these things are very important. You should never eat more. The moment you eat more, you become heavy, you feel heavy. You will feel like sleeping. You will become overweight. You can't work. You will sleep more. Sleeping also, we had a lot of discussion about sleeping in our SSR class. We should sleep early and get up early. I think all of you remember what I have told in SSR class about sleeping. If you sleep from 8 in the night to 12 in the night, it is each hour is 12 hours. That means if you sleep from 8 to 12, that 4 hours is equal to 8 hours of sleep. From 12 to 4 o'clock, it is 1 hour. From 4 o'clock to 6 o'clock, it is half an hour. From 6 beyond, if you sleep, it is negative. That means whatever sleep we have already slept will also become reverse. So that way sleep should be under control. And eating, not only eating limited food, but eating healthy food is what is very important. You can't eat pizzas, burgers and say, I have eaten only this. No, you should take a balanced food. That balanced food is very important for maintaining health and recreation. You should always have recreation. Children should always go and play. Children should always have enjoyment. And we also should have enjoyment, whatever we are supposed to have at our age. But it should be towards planning, towards Krishna. And work can be mitigated all material pains by practicing the yoga system. Yeah, 18. 18, Sagana, will you read?
Yes, Madhavi. Yada viniyatam chittam atmani eva sthitatehe nispraha sarva kamepya yukta iti uchyate tada. Translation. When the yogi, by practice of yoga, disciplines his mental activities and becomes situated in transcendence, devoid of all material desires, he is said to be well established in yoga. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. When the yogi, by practicing of yoga, disciplines his mental activities, this is what we have been talking. What is important is disciplining our mental activities and become situated in the transcendence, devoid of material desires, keeps himself away from material desires. He is said to be well established in yoga. A person who does all this is a yogi. He is situated in yoga, is what is said. So it's very important to have a disciplined mental life which will lead us towards Krishna. Yeah, Harshit. So here 18 to 22, these slokas 18 to 22 will describe the perfection of Ashtanga Yoga. How a perfect Ashtanga yogi will behave. That means he does not get deviated. He'll have a control of mind. Yeah, 19, Harshit.
यथादिपो निवतस्ततो ज्ञानगते सोपामा स्मृता योगिना यत चित्तस्य युङ्गतो योगम atmanah. Translation. As a lamp in the windless place does not waver, so the transcendentalist whose mind is controlled remains always steady in his meditation on the transcendent self.
Harshit, you used to read Sloka so beautifully before. What happened? You're growing up, becoming big boy? Now, as a lamp in the windless place does not waver, so the transcendentalist whose mind is controlled remains always steady in the meditation on the transcendent self. This is a very clear, clean example. If a lamp is kept, it just grows beautifully like this. If there is no wind, here it is wind, not air. If there is no air, it won't glow. So that means if there are no diversions for our mind, our concentration on Krishna will be very stable. That means when wind grows slowly, the wind will, the light will keep moving. That way we also, if we have temptations around us, and that means if our mind is getting controlled to the temptations, then automatically our concentration will go. And if the wind blows heavily, what will happen? The lamp will put off. That means if you just totally get attached to the temptations, our Krishna consciousness will disappear. It will go away. So we have to be very careful on temptations. At 20 to 23. Sagana, can you read?
Yes,
Hare Krishna.
Mataji.
Yeah.
Yator karmateshu.
Not able to hear you, Sagana.
Now is it okay?
Yeah, good.
Yatro paramate chittam nirutam yoga sevaya yatra chaiva tamantam manam pasyan atmani tushyati sukham adyantikam yatat buddhi graham atindrayam vetti yatra na chaivayam stistastra chalati tatvatah yam labhatva chaparam labam manyate nadikam tatah Yasmin sitora dukkena gurunapi visalyate tam vidya dukkha samyoga vivokam yoga samjinitam. Hare Krishna.
Yoga Samyati. Hare Krishna. Very good. Somebody.
In the state of perfection called trance or samadhi, one's mind is completely restrained from material mental activities by practice of yoga. This perfection is characterized by one's ability to see the self by the pure mind and to relish and rejoice in the self. In that joyous state, one is situated in boundless transcendental happiness realized through transcendental senses. Established thus, one never departs from the truth, and upon gaining this, he thinks there is no greater gain. Being situated in such a position, one is never shaken, even in the midst of greatest difficulty. This indeed is actual freedom from all miseries arising from material contact. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So, from Sloka 20 to 23, Krishna describes the realization of a yogi in perfection. So previously we discussed about the qualities of qualities of an yogi, and then his behavior and various things. Now he is describing the realizations of a yogi. So what kind of happiness here in the stage of perfection called trance or samadhi, one's mind is completely restrained from material mental activities by practicing yoga. So that means by practicing yoga, you have no temptations. This perfection is characterized by one's ability to see the self by the pure mind and to relish and rejoice in self. So this can be done only when our mind becomes pure. That means no temptations. Then only we will relish and rejoice the self. We will enjoy within ourselves. This enjoying ourselves also we have discussed. In that joyous state, one is situated in boundless transcendental happiness. See, material, we have been talking many times that material happiness is temporary. Anything that gives happiness materially will definitely cause us sorrow. But now, if one is situated in the transcendental happiness, he is permanently in happiness, realized through, I mean, whatever happens, he says, oh, Krishna has given me. That way he'll be able to take. Established thus, one never departs from the truth. The moment, see, anything that is happy, we will not leave it. Something that is giving us happiness, we will never realize. So we will never try to leave it. So that way, when we start enjoying the transcendental happiness, we will never leave Krishna. And upon gaining this, he thinks there is no greater bargain. That means there's nothing else to ask. What is bargaining? I'll give you this, you give me this, is the bargain. So here, what are we giving? We are giving Krishna consciousness, service to Krishna, and Krishna is giving us happiness. So there's no more asking. He is giving the happiest thing. So if you want a big house, why? To be happy. You want a hut, why? To be happy. So if you can see the hut and the house same, the big house will never give you happy, but only the happiness what you are getting by getting connected to Krishna is what is giving you happy. Being situated in that position, one is never shaken. That means you are in a very happy mood. You are very happily playing with your friends. Why will you get diverted that I must get up from here and go? You will never think. You will always think of playing only. even in the midst of greatest difficulty, even something plain, like you want to go for restroom, you have a lot of pain in the stomach, but still you don't want to leave that happiness, that game and go, unless it's too controllable. That way, anything, suppose there's some pain in the leg, you're not able to sit. If it is studying or if you're not enjoying, immediately you say, oh, it's paining, I can't sit. But the moment you are enjoying the game there, the pain, automatically you'll forget the pain also. This indeed is actually freedom from all material miseries. This is what is freedom from all material miseries, from material contact. So how are we getting the miseries from? How are we getting all these material miseries? From material contact, right? That is what we have been discussing all these days. So this is what is freedom from all material miseries because of the material contact. This is what is called best use of the bad bargain. That means you have a bad bargain. You have bought something very, it's a wrong thing which you should not have bought. But at what price did you buy is the best bargain. That way, we should not have come to this world at all, but we have come. So make best use of it is what is important. So if the moment you are the moment you are attached to Krishna and start enjoying the transcendental happiness, this material happiness will never give you any attachment. That's what it is. Okay. So we should stop here. Today we have completed a lot of chapters. Hare Krishna.